If you've ever thought you were going to miss your flight because TSA had to examine your bag, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. Folks, welcome back to another episode of Live Trading. Happy Thursday. Ryan here from the HQ. Had to take over the same room from Aaron, so I apologize for the delay, but we will pack just as much action into the show. That much, I promise. Let's get rolling.
Welcome to Benzinga Live Trading.
Let's see if this actually kind of comes back.
Way out of control, got way too high.
All right. Hey, I will take that. I will absolutely take that. All right, folks, we are ready to hit it. Let me bring on my main man, 13. 13, how you doing today?
Well, good morning, Ryan. How's everybody this morning? Looking for a interesting day here so far. I mean, I'm looking for some of this weakness that we're seeing right now. We had that jobs print, and then right after that, we had building permits. It made it go like that. So it did this, and it did that.
It made it go like that. When we left off yesterday with the SPY, we were talking about I wanted to see how it closed. Well, guess what? We got that close over the all-time highs. So we are, breaking out here. I guess the question is how long do we break out? Would love to hear from the chat what you guys think about this. Clearly, SPY continuing to push higher. Now, if we look inside today, you'll see that the SPY kind of held its gains, drifted up a little bit in the after hours. Now, it is kind of trading down here into the open, but we're still above the close from yesterday, so we're still positive here. So want to see if maybe SPY bounces off that here and keeps moving higher. 13, do you have levels higher for SPY?
Well, one thing I'm looking at right now is how right into the end of the the after hours trading session yesterday, we had a pop and drop, and that got as high as $5.30 and 80 cents. This morning, right as we had that jobless claims, we popped right back up to that same level and came back in. Now that could be, a double top right there. So we might be going lower here. Now, if we do start to go lower, the first place I'm going to look for some support is just above 529. After that, not really sure, maybe 527. I don't have levels to the downside quite yet. I'm kind of just waiting for some more price action to happen. But that's the first thing I see is that we had those two peaks at 5.30 and 80 cents, not too far apart from each other. So double top, it looks like.
Okay, and we'll see if the SPY is weak today. Thinking about it says, I think a pop and then a pullback tomorrow into options expiration. So we'll see what we end up getting here. STFU saying yesterday had like 200 new high prints on the SPY, which is fun. We're living in interesting times. Indeed, yes. We are. DJAF saying we'll be interested when the dips get bought up today on SPY. And that's true. We definitely want to pay attention what levels the SPY does get bought if it does, in fact, come on in. I don't really think it's going to sell off. We really haven't seen that yet. So I would imagine if we do sell off, there are going to be places where the buyers step in on that. Okay, let's move over to some of the movers, and then we'll go ahead and take a look at some of the stocks that you folks want to take a look at. We're definitely still going to take a look at the meme craze, if you will. I guess we can go ahead and start with those. Let me do that here. Let's see where we're at on GME. And AMC. So GME here, we did try to bounce later in the day. The highs were in the pre-market yesterday. After hitting 32, we tried to bounce. We actually closed off the lows, which was good here for today. In the after hours, however, we fell some more. We fell right at the open of the pre-market, and the bounce this morning was not terribly well received, I guess you could say. So we'll see here if GME can get going. Now, the good news here about GME for trading purposes is we are right along the VWAP at the moment. So really good to see. And we've actually made this high in the pre-market here. That's right around 37.50, actually a little bit lower than that, 37 and change. So if we're able to take that level out, GameStop is definitely one of the stocks that can get the juice here. I don't need to explain that to anybody. So memes look lower. We'll see if they end up popping here. Let's take a look at AMC. This one, yeah, go ahead.
They are lower, but they're holding a certain level. Like GME is still pretty much up there relative to the price action we've had, in the past year. So as long as it can hold up here, we could, and we're starting to get some of these lagging moving averages to kind of come up here and cross each other. So there could be another move in GME and some of these meme stocks later on. I have a sneaking suspicion that there could be, especially if we're holding these levels. So this is something to watch for. This might not be done, but I don't know that we're going to rocket to higher highs than we made earlier this week in these meme stocks. But it doesn't seem like this is quite over yet if they're holding at a particular level here.
Sorry, one sec.
No worries.
Okay, and then so for AMC here, we held 5. We actually held 5 in the intraday session yesterday. We actually looks like we tried to lose that here in the pre-market, but we got back above it. So right now we're actually battling with the VWAP, which is at 502. So this 5 level here on AMC, I think, is going to be the first spot that we need to take a look at here today. We'll see here on these memes.
Yeah. 7 to 8 looks rough for AMC. There's a lot of there's a lot of supply zones to get back up through. I know it wasn't that hard for it initially, but the second time around might be more difficult. So I'm not so sure about AMC, but GME looking okay.
Okay, and then yeah, I mean, we'll see here. I mean, even if this does trade up to 7 here today, 13, that would actually be a pretty decent move here from 5. But we'll see if it has the strength to do that.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at some of the movers, and then we'll go into what you folks want to take a look at. First one here is going to be ticker LSDI. This is Lucy Scientific Discovery. Now, I took a look at the news earlier here on this. You can see this was a penny stock that is popping pretty good now. I took a look at the news earlier here, and all I could really find was there were, a notice of delisting. The stock was under $1, and I think that they must have filed an extension or something like that we just don't have. I actually went over to the Edgar database itself just to see if there was some type of PR or some type of filing that Pro didn't pull, and it was exactly the same. So I don't think we have that filing yet here. This stacks up 280%. 13. What do you make of this?
Yeah, the only thing that I could see on here that may have any kind of reason for this movement was the Form 10Q. Didn't really see a whole lot in there that I didn't go through it thoroughly, so there might be something in there. But there's also a leadership shakeup and resignations among this company. So maybe it's just popping on new management changes. Would be my guess. Has a 1.7 million share float. They did a reverse split 1-for-10 earlier this year on February 26th. Aside from that, I don't really have the news on why this is going on. But my guess again would be management changes.
Okay. This is a big ripper here. So the trading strategy, we've seen several legs up here in the pre-market. So the trading strategy for me is, well, do we continue to hold the VWAP like we did the last time? If we're able to do that, I think this does actually set up for a potential long side trade. So LSDI on deck here. All right, next is going to be JDZG, Jia. Now, they're trading higher amid post-IPO volatility. I will say this was not an IPO that was on my list at all. Sorry for slacking, but I actually didn't take a look at this at all yesterday. Now, I do see we had a wild pre-market here today. We were up over 100%. We've really kind of cooled off here, and it looks like the VWAP is going to tell the story here today. I'll see if we have anything on this. It's obviously a new issue here. Engaged in providing one-stop comprehensive education supporting services, to adult education institutions through a wide range of software platforms and auxiliary solutions. So this, and what was that? And this is a Chinese stock, so it operates in the People's Republic of China. This one to me seems a little bit dangerous. We really don't have a whole lot of history, so we're not really sure how this one actually trades. Do you have anything on this one, 13?
Other than you mentioned the IPO, 2.2 million share float. It's a Chinese name. I'm not sure about this one at all. This is just going to be strictly a day trade. If I do even trade it at all, I would not hold this one at all. We have seen what happens with these China names if you try to hold them overnight. It's not great.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we've got that going here. Sorry, I'm just trying to get some other stuff rolling here. Okay, next on the list is going to be ASTS. Looks like the chat is really waiting for this one. We've traded this one before. This is AST Space Mobile. The catalyst here, AST Space Mobile shares are trading higher after the company and AT&T announced a definitive commercial agreement company also reported mixed Q1 financial results. You can see that impulse move took us just to about 4. We've really kind of come back and done a really good job holding this $3 level. That's up from $2.40, which is where this was trading yesterday. Same deal here, though. We're still using the VWAP as some considerable resistance here in the pre-market. So want to see what the opening print looks like, want to see if we can take this out. What I'd really like to see on ASTS is some expanding volume. You can see when the pre-market open here, the volume was a little bit lower and it seems to be getting some attention. So if we get that same attention here in the regular session, we could have a big mover on our hands. What do you have here for ASTS?
The interesting news about that is that the deal with AT&T, that seems like AT&T trying to break into Starlink, markets. I'm not saying that that's what's happening here. It just seems that way. Now, the thing with ASTS is that they do have a sell the news event coming up because this whole commercial agreement is based upon their launching of a satellite that's going to be taking place this summer. I don't have an exact date for when that launch takes place, but I'm pretty sure we're going to be wanting to pay attention to when that is, because that's going to definitely be another catalyst to help move this stock. So that's going to be something to watch for in the future with ASTS.
Okay, we'll see if we get that here. Let's see. Anyone else that was mentioning ASTS thoughts? There you go, DRG. So there are some of our thoughts on that. Okay, let's move to the next one here. This one is BCAN. This is BYND Canasoft Enterprises. I feel like we talked about this one.
This was yesterday,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this was yesterday. It was higher in the pre-market. You could see all the action was in the pre-market. Once the market opened, this thing really kind of sold off. Now we're popping again here in the pre-market, very much like we did yesterday. Let's see if this carries through. You got anything on BCAN?
First, thank you thinking about it for giving us updates on ASTS. The launch is supposed to be in August, so we'll check on that. As far as BCAN goes, I didn't see the news on it yesterday. I don't know if they have anything, regarding news today. It doesn't appear to be the case, but they do have an 8.75 million share float. They did a reverse split, a 1 for 190 on March 22nd. Aside from that, not sure why we have the movement. There might be something that I'm just not seeing.
Okay, that sounds good. Sorry,
Thank you, Nicholas.
Still trying to set up trade the pool here for the open, so might need some time to figure that out. Walmart is on the list. This is not one of the smaller movers that we normally discuss here. This one, obviously, Walmart is Walmart here. They reported earnings. Walmart higher here. Looks like 64 was the resistance. Anyone have anything here on Walmart? Maybe a trade plan? The one thing that I'll say here on Walmart is this: does have the potential for a gap and go here today. Again, 9 EMA would be what I use for the entry and exit trigger. We'll see if this gap actually gives you the go phase here. We've pulled back to the VWAP. We really haven't even quite touched it or broken down through it. You got anything on Walmart here, 13?
No, I didn't cover Walmart, but I do recall that retail sales yesterday didn't impress. Do you recall what that figure was? Because I was too worried about CPI, but we also got retail sales, and I thought they weren't great. So I think that kind of maybe giving you an idea of where the consumer is right now. And these earnings and guidance, yeah, they're great, and you're going to see a lot of consumers go to Walmart for cost savings. But I'm just a little bit concerned about the consumer having enough strength to keep companies like this up.
Okay. Real good stuff there on Walmart. Next is going to be Grab. Now, I don't know if you folks remember Grab. This is about the same price. We were actually gifted Grab shares when we did the Moo small account challenge way back. Grab is about the same price. Looks like it's really kind of taken a dip. Now it is trading up here today. Shares are trading higher after the company reported year-over-year increase in Q1 financial results. Does that mean that Grab ends up taking off? Take a look at some of its recent performance. It's done really well off that $3 level. Looks like we're testing 4. I'd watch for this one. What do you think about Grab?
Well, let's take a look here. I was only really covering those 3 big movers. This one had earnings yesterday. Let me just take a look here at the float. We have a 2.73 billion share float. So not really sure that this is going to move in the way that we want. We might just kind of get the same price action that we've been kind of seeing in this stock already, where it's very, I guess we'll call it barcodey.
Barcodey. Okay, I like it.
At least At least that's the way it kind of looked on one of those charts I was looking at, because it just doesn't look like it's very liquid. You look at a smaller time frame, it doesn't look like it gets a lot of action. So yeah, I really don't know much about this company, and I don't really have a big opinion on it. Let me take a look at the splits. There are none. Offerings, there are none. Short interest, doesn't seem like there is any. Haven't seem to have a 2.4. Anyway, I don't know what to really make of this company. Sorry, I couldn't provide more, and I didn't cover it.
Yep. Nope. Okay. I'm just trying to set up my other screen here. Very difficult to do two things at once. So that's what I'm struggling with here, 13. No worries on not covering it. Okay. Let's see. Cancel this. Let's see what we got next here. JD.com. They reported earnings here this morning, trading higher after reporting better than expected Q1 results. This is obviously a Chinese company. We've talked a lot about Chinese stocks. We asked Matt Malley about some of those Chinese stocks as well. JD trading higher here. I pass on this. I know JD is one of the more popular Chinese names, along with Pinduoduo and, of course, Alibaba. I'm going to pass on this one here today. I think that there's other things that we can try and trade, but let me know if you folks are trying to trade JD here today. I'm assuming you've got nothing on this one too.
No, I didn't look at that one, but I just want to shout out to DJ AF. Thanks for the compliment. And Todd Wyatt, I do want to talk about CB, because I mentioned this in our happy hour chat about Berkshire adding more CB, and I thought that was interesting because this stock has already run quite a bit, and I don't know exactly when they added. They may have added significantly before this run, but it made me start to look at different insurance companies and ETFs, and KIE looked interesting. So it looks like it wants to take out $52 in the future. So just thought it was an interesting ad to Berkshire, especially considering that they said that they didn't see anything interesting new to buy. So this is an ad. I wouldn't consider this new, but I started looking into that in insurance companies. So I think there might be a move in insurance in the future. So just I thought that was interesting.
Okay. Also worth noting here, Cisco, they reported earnings here this morning. Looks like they popped up, coming back in. We'll see if that gives a trade. Alibaba here on the movers this morning. Looks like that's getting bought after its recent move down. And then CTNT, right? This is one from yesterday. This so far holding its gains. So we'll see if CTNT gets rolling here today. All right, we got 4 minutes till we open here. What stocks do you folks want to take a look at? Let me go ahead and examine the chat here again. That was a really nice compliment, DJF. Really appreciate that.
Where did I get barcoding from? It's really old. I'm not as young as you might think.
Looks like your LILM is moving here. Is another one of the chatters here asking about this. Really, really low volume here today.
Yeah, this one. So I remember talking about this one yesterday that I was in it, and this one continued to go up and up and up. And I've talked about rules before, and one of the rules that I have is that if my trade plan isn't working out and it's positive more than I was looking for, I just leave. So that's what happened. I sold out of it yesterday because I was up 30% on this. That triggered my rule. I left. It even went up another 7 cents, before topping out, and it looks like it's sold off here a little bit. But this is, I still think that that trade idea is in play. It's just, my rule triggered. I'm still looking for this to have a sell the news event at the show, the trade show that I was talking about. Let me just get it for you one more time because I keep forgetting the name of it. It is eBase, EBACE 2024. You can Google that, and it'll give you the website, and you can check it out for yourself and everything. But I picked this up specifically for that event, and it ran before that, so rule triggered. I sold out. Hopefully, I'll get another chance to buy back in when it goes lower.
Okay. Sounds good. All right, let's see. What else do you have? What else do you folks have going? Richard wants to take a look at Palantir. Let's go ahead and do that here. That's ticker PLTR. We're getting pretty close to the open here. I'm still fidgeting with some stuff, trying to get Trade the Pool working here. By the way, this is actually a really good reminder. Stream is sponsored by Trade the Pool, so if you need to get above that 25K threshold, Trade the Pool is your prop firm. Also, if you need more buying power to participate in some of the madness here, check them out. Really good stuff. Okay. Palantir looked like it was a little higher, but kind of rolled back over. Oh, you know what? There isn't much here on Palantir. If you guys have anything else that you want to discuss, let's do it. But I did want to cover Boot Barn. Jay, really good mention here. Thanks for reminding me. Remember, Boot Barn, we had a really kind of a crummy short report come out on this. That was right down here, took us down to 98. Stock went green almost right away, stayed green, reported earnings yesterday, traded right back down to the same area. And as Jay mentioned, bought back up and green here and higher here today. Possible breakout here above 110 on Boot Barn. So we'll take a look or we'll watch this one. Go ahead, 13.
One thing that we were also discussing in the happy hour chat, we got the CPI report, and I noticed that apparel in the services less energy section, or not that section, but apparel in the core section, that had the highest increase compared to the other segments. So it made me think, okay, well, maybe apparel, because there's higher prices being paid by the consumer, maybe apparel has a pretty decent second quarter. So I'm kind of looking through some apparel names, and Boot was on the list, but there are some other apparel names that are providing some really, really nice setups for a short-term trade. I think A&F was one of them. I can get you a list here.
And remember with A&F, that was one that Jay was on. Okay, we're open, folks. Let me flip over to my main workspace. I'm sorry. I'm really having some technical issues opening up the Trade the Pool broker here. I'm going to keep trying, but I need some time to do that here. We're going to take a look at ASTS right out of the gate here.
Yep.
This one right at its VWAP here. Okay, 320. Let's see if we can actually take that out here on ASTS.
320 is your target, or?
Well, 320 is the 320 is the VWAP
gotcha.
here.
Okay.
We've really struggled getting over the VWAP so far, 13. So
Mm-hmm.
for this to really get juice, that's step number one. The volume here looks good out of the open. Let's see if we end up doing it. I'm looking at, looks like we backed off that a little bit. I have the same VWAP on my broker as I do here on TradingView. Looks like we stopped there again. We'll see here on ASTS.
It looks like it's starting to get going now, though. Volume's starting to come in. Just a little bit more. Let's get into the high threes. That'd be great. But yeah, as soon as you just stopped talking, the thing said, okay, Ryan's done talking, time to go.
I'm sorry. I'm just
no worries, man. I'm just giving you a hard time. Showing ASTS is showing bears. Well, it's certainly not getting up too high. Bit of a neutral candle at the moment. Let me cycle through some of these other ones that we had this morning here. That was LSDI. Oh, it looks like ASTS is starting to go now. There we are.
Okay, I don't know I don't know what to do here, folks. I'm really sorry. I don't know how I'm going to get Trade the Pool up here. I'm just gonna have to not do that. I'm sorry, Gil. I'm sorry, Trade the Pool guys. I did not have time to prepare. I don't understand what's going on here. Okay, let's focus on the stocks that are trading here. Looks like LSDI was halted.
Yeah, find us some winners, Ryan.
LSDI halted to the downside here. 197, 183 is that VWAP. We'll see if that if that goes lower when it opens here. AWIN, which was our big runner from yesterday, halted to the upside. Are we starting it up again here on AWIN?
All right, I'm out ASTS. That was the first and only trade so far today.
Good start to the day there, though, 13.
Yep, just got in at VWAP. Got about 10, 15 cents and change in a quick trade. It's looking like it's going to try to go higher too. It looks like we have a high. It could get up to the 362. I don't have levels for this one yet, but that is the pre-market high from this morning. The after hours high yesterday was 390. So, but as everybody was saying, they Yeah, they do have sellers. This might not push up because thinking about it was mentioning this is a rehash on their news. So, and the market has a short-term memory. So there might not be as much upside in this one as there could be later on when they actually do launch that rocket in supposedly August, right?
Okay. This is going to keep rolling here. 350 looks like the next spot.
Yeah. Yeah, just under a lot of pressure. RSI is starting to get a little bit up there. And if it gets to 350, it could really start to move. But
this is actually the top end of the standard deviation channel. I do see some size there at 145. Boy, they just ate that fast. Ate that one real quick.
Hey, Kalu, congratulations. I'm glad to hear it, man.
Welcome back.
Got himself a house. That's awesome.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Any thoughts on Amazon? Possibly still going down? Well, maybe. Let's see here. They were kind of trickling down a bit yesterday, weren't they? I mean, it's, it could just be more of that rotation among the Mag 7 that we're also seeing too. You had Tesla down one day and then the next day that one's up where all these some of these other ones are down. ASTS still pushing up. It looks like it wants to take out this 350 here.
I was just saying, I'm watching 350 here. I'm actually looking over at my broker here too. I see that it's stopping there. Looks like we did have some prints above that, but that must have been from the pre-market.
Yeah, I'm just pulling up Amazon here and looking at charts to try to give an answer to our good sir Richard here. So Amazon is the thing about the chart is that it seems like 190 was a bit of a topping out area for it on two occasions. The first being last month. So it could be a double top, but I'm going to want to see these the 50-day SMA kind of hold the price. And if that doesn't happen, I'd be a little bit worried about filling the gap to the downside, which goes all the way down to 161. The thing about Amazon is that I get nervous when I start seeing Bezos sell, because usually, as we've seen before, when he sells, he'll do it, over the course of a period of time in a year, and then it seems like the following year, oh wow, ASTS really moving now.
Yeah,
over the course of the following year, it'll the market will, or the stock will sell off. And we saw that in 2021 when he sold, and of course we all know what happened in 2022 and 2023. He did sell in January this year, so I would expect that maybe he sells again into some of the strength that we're having, and then I'd be even more concerned that in the coming months after that, we'll probably see some downside in it. One thing also to mention with this is if you look at a longer time frame, like a weekly chart, that looks kind of like a long-term double top there as well. So maybe Amazon does see some more weakness, and it has had a very nice run lately. So I'd be a little bit concerned here for Amazon. I need something else more to push it up higher, because it does look like it's coming in.
Okay. Sorry, I'm going to load this back up. I'm going to stop messing with it here, folks. Sorry about that. Looks like ASTS did pop above 350 there, up to 355 and pulled back. I don't think this one's done yet, folks.
It might not be. So it's, let's see, 340 maybe, somewhere between 335 and 340. That's where it's currently looking or getting support. Maybe even the VWAP might support it too. But if we started to put some kind of a bull flag or bull pennant, this one definitely could take off again. So watch for some support in the 330 area, maybe 320. No, I'll just say 330 area. And here we go. Here comes the test.
Also, by the way, FFIE, this was a penny stock in the single digits just a few days ago.
Yeah.
It's pushing $1 now. FFIE.
Okay, so now it's getting ASTS is getting support from VWAP. So we'll just want to see it hold this area up here, and if it does over the next 10, 15 minutes, we could see another move up to above pre-market highs.
AWIN here looks like this is unhalted now and continuing higher. Let's see if AWIN can challenge that $7 mark. Let me see if this is just as spread as it was yesterday. Spread actually looks to have tightened up, but we'll see if it starts to expand when it moves. Yeah, it sure does. It sure does. So
Hey, no
Awen might be a little bit more difficult here today, but this one's still moving 13.
Hey, no problem, Richard. And I hope that it's just a that's a piece of data for your play. I hope you're not just treating ours as gospel. I just want you to have my opinion and not trade your plan your trades around it, because I do think Amazon looks really extended. It could go a little bit higher, but with the RSI at 68, I'm just a little concerned we're going to see it turn around. ASTS looks like it's trying to push back up into 350 to go higher.
And GDRX strong again here this morning after a strong day yesterday. That looks like it's pushing to new highs as well. Here is ASTS. Looks like we retook 350 there, at least only temporarily. Still stopping here. Next spot, that 355. That was a reversal spot yesterday in the after hours. We'll see if we take that out here.
How many halts does LSDI had? Is this 2 halts?
LSDI, I have it as its first halt.
Oh.
Sorry, this is on a nope. Looks like maybe this was a second halt. My goodness, I am really, you guys, I am struggling. No, second halt here today.
Okay.
Second halt here today on LSDI.
Q's looking weak. I thought they did yesterday. So how are we doing today? I mean, it's still higher, but we are getting into some pretty extended territory here with these broader market ETFs. Yeah, I don't know how much higher this goes. I mean, this market can do whatever it wants, including take our money. So just be careful. EBS 9.
Careful there. Yeah, I'm having trouble with my platform here.
Oh man, that was a good one, Rick Potter. He's the JDZG. He's calling J-Dog Ziggy. That's funny.
Hey, pet names work.
I like that. I think that's funny.
Try to open up pro and beta here.
Gosh, the market is just kind of like, what's a good
just
word?
Kind of hold it in there at 530. It looks like.
Yeah.
Futures are trying to curl here.
I'm going to bore people out of this market.
Let's close that. Let's see if we get some better performance here.
Let's see. GME. Take a look at GME. How's that one doing? Is that holding in the area that we were talking about? Let's see. Yeah, still hanging out there.
Man, oh man. Here is GME. I'm sorry. I just cannot flip around as fast as you folks are moving with the stocks. Not on this machine. I'm really sorry about that. GME so far staying under its VWAP. Who mentioned FFIE a few days ago? Was it Tuna Crow? Yeah, it was one of the penny players in there. I think it was mentioned when it was under 10 cents or just about. Just been on a huge run. Some of those other pennies that are going, looks like BRSH, Kraken, CRKN. I think Becca was trading this yesterday, weren't you? Looks like Kraken was higher here in the pre-market. Looks like it might bounce. We'll see if that takes. I'm not trading the pennies, but they are moving. And I think it was WIS, actually. WIS had mentioned that there were a number of pennies moving. G-Wave, another one of those. FFIE, CYN, BRSH, and G-Wave.
Yeah, a lot of short squeezes. And BMTX, that one just had a pop, and now it's coming back in. It's beneath VWAP, but I would look to see if we can get some support around 250. So if we can, then I'll be interested in maybe having it take another leg up. Oh yeah, ADW. We're getting some storms today too. I'm down in the Houston area.
I feel like we've had storms almost every day recently.
Oh, we had some awesome thunderstorms, awesome ones. Like, have you ever been so close to a lightning bolt that you didn't hear the delay between the thunder and seeing the lightning.
Oh,
You
yeah.
could hear
Yeah.
you could hear the crackle just as after it struck, and then you hear the boom. Oh, we got a lot of that yesterday. It was incredible.
Some of those storms are my favorite, I'll be honest, as long as I'm inside, that is. ASTS off this pullback here, so far holding the VWAP. We basically have a pretty good range now. Now we've got pretty good criteria for this, right? If we break down through the VWAP, this is going to have some negative momentum or some downside momentum. If we take out this, 355 spot, we should be good on a breakout. We'll see. You could also probably try and trade that range, I suppose. Got about a 20-cent range in there.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good. Hair-raisingly close. That might have been the electricity in the air. Which, by the way, it was interesting how when you get that much lightning, and you see how the clouds are ionized. They have this green hue to it.
Yeah, it looks really cool. Looks just kind of like ominous almost. Jay Rice here mentioning Under Armour this morning did exactly what Boot did. Indeed, this sold off on earnings, went green already. This actually looks like it's going to keep going here. Apparel, you were saying?
Apparel. It was the biggest, had the biggest upside increase month over month compared to all the other core segments of the CPI. So to me, it just seems like, maybe Q2 is going to be good for, apparel companies raising their prices and trying to, recapture some of the margins they've lost. So that's just the thought. It looks like some of these apparel companies are ready to do well. And here goes ASTS trying to make that next push to 350 and through.
Let me get back to that. Boot Barn, by the way, continuing. We talked about a possible 110 breakout there. That might be one to watch. Here is ASTS. Let's see where this is going. I mean, my goodness. Last time I'm going to say it. I apologize for all of the technical issues this morning on a foreign machine. So. Sorry.
No worries, man. We're still having fun.
No, I know. I wish I was doing a better job controlling the screen here. It's very difficult. All right, here we are at ASTS. Looks like we're going back down towards the VWAP here. By the way, AWIN holding 6.
Oh, and there's a big knife in ASTS. That was a good call there, ASTFU. And now this thing is almost back to the open. All right, that was ASTS. Let's find something else. Maybe ASTS will give us some trades later on. LSDI, that just is going down. For LSDI, unless we start to get some some curling or some slowing down of the selling here, I'm looking for maybe 120 as a potential spot for a bounce.
Jacob Bear. Tag at developers. Oh, believe me, they're going to hear it. They're going to hear it. That's actually an inside joke. Shout out to Jacob Bear for busting that one out here. Sally, Ryan, you're among friends. All good. Really appreciate you folks being understanding and awesome. That is why we have the best community out here, by the way.
EKS mentioning 3M. Now this is interesting because this was a short play not too long ago, but since the tariffs came down on China, 3M has been one of a more interesting play now. I don't think that it's going to be so much a short in the short term as we were originally treating it, because a lot of the medical supplies, syringes, PPE, things of that nature, 3M supplies a lot of that. And now that we're basically cutting off the China supplier, 3M kind of is going to be getting a boost since they may be tapped for more demand as a result.
This 3M chart here looks pretty strong too. That thing off that 84 level that you were mentioning just keeps going here. Looking really good here on 3M.
Yeah, so
this was actually lower than that. I beg your pardon. I'm sorry. This went down to like 70s.
So yeah, that was a good bear turn bull thesis on those tariffs for 3M. All right, what's going on here with ASTS? Is it getting a bounce or turning around? Nope, still hanging down there. Still hanging down there, trying to get support from the 65 EMA, and there's a demand zone right beneath it. So we'll see. I need to take this off my screen until it starts turning around. Look at LIDR. You guys have been trading. Some of you were trading this one. This is just putting in green candle after green candle so far. Could be another EBS maybe. Jobless claims rise.
LIDR.
Yeah.
Looks like 450. It's going for 450 here. Chris says, haven't heard MMM and pretty strong in the same sentence in years. Yeah, it's been kind of a downtrend. Looks like it might be reversing that here, though.
And yeah, I mean, they have those lawsuits, and those could be ongoing. And the real big concern with that right now is that a lot of their cash flow left the company when they spun off. I'm trying to think of what division it was, but the point is that once that spinoff occurred, a lot of their cash flow went. So any further litigation this now smaller company is going to have to deal with, it's going to put a lot more pressure on its cash flow. So that's the big concern with 3M.
Peggy, PEGY, another penny stock that's up big here today. So those pennies still seem to be working. OCGN, which we've recently talked about, trading up here on some pretty decent volume.
I will take a look at iBio for you, Market Sniper. Oops, that's not right. Okay, there we go.
Walmart didn't really go, tried to go out of the gate, but pulled back to the VWAP here. That seems to be slowing down a little bit.
I don't know anything about an iBio split or reverse split. iBio, their last one was on November 29th. I think you might be referring to TBio, which was one that I had mentioned that was going to do a reverse split and to keep on your radar for a potential move. But that one hasn't. That move hasn't materialized. So maybe we're just either early to TBio or it's just not getting noticed. And I do know that there's, I know that Jay Rice is just probably telling me right now, hey, it's, the fundamentals suck. And I agree. Fundamentals suck with this company, but this thing could move on garbage news, just like some of these Chinese names move on garbage news. So that was the whole thesis on this one. Hasn't worked out yet so far.
Maxon looks like it's testing 3 here on a potential breakout move on MAXN. Lynn, you having computer issues this morning too? Sorry.
And Carmen's watching ABio. So, we have the whole alphabet in here with bio.
iBio, TBio, and ABio. Place your bets. Yeah. Which one do you like?
ABio actually
on MAXN.
ABio actually looks like a more of a decent company, but the thing is that it's got a massive short interest.
BMTX here curling up, also moving off the VWAP. Now the volume is kind of compressing. That's got me a little bit worried about it. We'll see if that volume continues to expand. Here we go. BMTX continuing to move up. Watch a 3 move on this.
And SCFU, thank you for the mention. ASTS trying to bounce and reclaim VWAP. It has 1 rejection there so far on the 5-minute.
LSDI halted. Great.
Yes, Kevin, that's right. We do hear from a lot of Fed today. That's
LSDI. I'm not even sure why this halted.
Yeah, it's been really interesting. We've been seeing some halts in some of these these big movers, and it doesn't seem like they're warranted. I know that there was a lot of folks complaining about GME halting for seemingly no reason yesterday. Good morning, Lion.
And look at LSDI. This thing's barely moving, and it's halted here.
Yeah,
I'm with you on that one. I saw a lot of those reports on Twitter yesterday, 13. A lot of them.
WidePoint Corp getting mentioned by Lion Atlas. Let's see what's going on here. They had earnings. Yeah, ASTS, that VWAP rejection is so far looking like bears are still in control. So with WYY, are we looking for a technical breakout here over 232? I'm sorry, 277. Is that that the reason we're entertaining this one here, line? It looks like it has a nice setup. I mean, I see the 20 is getting pretty close to the 20-day SMA is getting pretty close to crossing the 50-day SMA, which will give us a silver cross. So that's pretty good. But the RSI is a little elevated. So I guess the thought here would be if this does break out and run, that would definitely be a reason to sell because the RSI will be pretty extended after that. Is that the whole thought there?
LSDI. This my chart hadn't updated. This actually popped above the VWAP on a pretty decent volume and halted. So this one actually looks pretty decent here. LSDI.
Thanks, Jay Rice, for the added piece of information. That's helpful. Carmen, you're watching 8Bio, like the squeeze. Okay, so it's a part of your squeeze. That's awesome. And you did well with rent too. I remember that. Thanks, Line.
This actually, this WYY that Jay Rice mentioned, this actually has a pretty decent chart. This looks like this wants to break out and move higher here. Look at that. This is a nice little breakout above 280, Jay, if we can get it.
Yeah, Line mentioned this one. Jay Rice is providing some additional.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yep. Thank you.
Go on.
Lynn still using Thinkorswim, obviously owned by Schwab now. Hasn't really given me trouble, at least not yet. Knock on wood. Hopefully that stays true.
All right, what's KIE doing today? Went slightly up. I think there might be a play here with insurance, if especially if Buffett or Berkshire is adding more CB to their portfolio. Or they already have, actually. So that might help lift insurance up a bit. I know I had a list of apparel names that I wanted to put out here. Also, another interesting play could be, maybe another interesting short could be airlines. For the reason that there's legislation, and maybe Lynn and Randy, you could help us out with this. There's legislation that this made its way through Congress. It's going on to Biden's desk for signing. It's going to do a number of things in the airline industry. So change a little bit, change some regulations, change how airlines deal with customers, refunds, things of that nature. It ultimately looks like the bill is going to end up costing airlines money. So that's why I think there might be a short opportunity here for some of these airlines. And probably the most extended ones might be pretty good, like Delta Airlines might be pretty good. United Airlines might be pretty good because that's pretty weak. ASTS is actually trying another attempt at VWAP here while I'm talking.
FFIE, while you're talking, is attempting to go to 1.
So yeah, there might be some opportunities to the downside for airlines on that legislation. I'll give you that piece of legislation so you can look that up too.
Okay. Also, Jay was mentioning Goose. This is Canada Goose. I believe short interest is pretty high. Been a dog like UAA, but decent earnings. Indeed. In fact, on another screen here, short interest. As by the way, we did get our short interest updated. So the most recent short interest data is as of May 9th. 29.25% of its float shorted, Jay, and 23 days to cover on ticker GOOS. Okay, let me go ahead and clear this off. It is just about 10 a.m. here at the headquarters, and I want to bring on a special guest. Are you ready, 13? Are you ready?
Sure, let's do it.
Special guest is ready. Let's go ahead and welcome back Fausto Puglisi. How are you doing this morning, Fausto?
I'm doing good, Ryan. C13. So you guys are having a little fun. So you guys are always trading the same stocks we're in.
Well, you know what, Fausto? Volume tells the story, and I know whether you're using Pro or Bookmap, you're always looking at the orders, the flow, the volume, and I'm not surprised we settle on some of the same stocks. What are you seeing here today? By the way, FFIE just broke above that dollar, came right back in, but for all you trading it, hopefully you booked there. Fausto, what are you seeing here this morning?
So the big movers, I mean, obviously we can have fun talking about the GameStop and AMCs. I was having a blast with those.
I was going to say, how was that?
Yeah, I mean, like actually, I did a short, and it was probably on my Instagram. It was probably the most viewed short that I ever had video I ever made. It was almost like 100 times more the average person watched that than anything. It was a great video on it, explaining like how it went up and went down. But it was just a matter of time it was going to crash. I mean, there's orders everywhere. But the stock that's really moving right now is, it looks like the pot stocks are moving. CGC, I don't know if you guys just saw this, but we've been trading this pretty actively. And there's a cheap one that's moving very inexpensive that just popped right now is FFIE. It just made a big move. The stock, believe it or not, was $120 stock last year, and it's just starting to make a huge pop. It's about 60%, quarter billion shares just traded on this one. So there's definitely a lot going on.
We
There
were
wasn't
watching
that much going on
FFIE this morning.
You saw it this morning?
Yeah, we took a look at this one here this morning. We've been watching that one. We've actually been watching that for a couple of days. That thing was just penny.
It's
a few days ago, and now we are popping up.
It's going to get halted. It's going to get halted right now.
Yeah, it's just one of those tariff names.
Yep, just got halted. So
tariff beneficiary.
Yeah, it's a cheap little stock. I mean, I don't like to trade stocks under $1 because, first of all, it's not because I'm against them or the penny stocks. We don't really trade penny stocks, more NASDAQ. But the issue is you start dealing with fractions of a penny, and then you really don't know what the real spread is, and you're probably thinking it's one price, but it's not. It's one of the other big mistakes that people make regarding that. Another thing that we've been doing really well too on that's been shocking. I know you probably talked about it. Under Armour's actually made a big comeback. The stock had earnings.
Sorry, my computer is not doing well here, Fausto. So I apologize if I'm cutting you off. I've got a massive delay going on. We did actually have UAA mentioned earlier here today. One of our traders is mentioning that this actually did just the same thing that Boot Barn did. Sold off on earnings, got bought right back up, ended up going green. Boot Barn is higher since then. Maybe we get the same thing here in UAA.
Yeah, UAA, they made an announcement that there was they did a buyback on it. There was a couple of big orders that showed up around 9:45. Pretty big orders out there, but they got filled. Not that much. I mean, but the average, you can see the stock is only trading about 3.9 million shares already traded right now. But there was like these 50,000 share sellers out there. They pulled their orders. They laddered down from 7 down to I'm seeing here at like 670, 620. And then they gave up. They obviously got executed, and the stock obviously popped. So this one looks pretty strong. I mean, we're only about 30 minutes in, at the market, but it for a stock that, I love buybacks. I think when I was trained as a market maker, I think everyone thinks about talking about earnings is always very important, but earnings only last so long. The best news is always a buyback. I remember just back in the day, we used to have to wait on the weekends for Barron's. And we used to look and see who the companies did buybacks. And usually it was a strategy we did on Monday to know what to trade on Mondays. Mondays are always kind of slow, as in, not a lot of news coming out over the weekend. But buybacks are obviously very important. So that one's pretty strong. A little bit more on the slower side for some people that are beginners. But this morning wasn't a bad move. Listen, 620 to 680. I mean, 1,000 shares. I think everyone's done on the day on that one.
Yeah, you could have been. Frankly, you could have been done in the first couple of minutes of the market on that trade. Huge move there. Nice little move off the bottom.
Yeah. So regarding about the FFIE, that's halted. I don't know if anybody here knows a little bit more about halts, but it takes about 5 minutes. There are a bunch of factors of why they halt. It's not just about it went up too fast, but there's certain rules that also apply. Actually, believe it or not, I had to, just out of curiosity, I went through AI and asked them, like, what are the parameters of halting? Because I know what the haltings are, like why they halted, but there's also other things that they factor in also, which aren't really that important. More or less knowing if it's going to be a 5-minute halt or a 10-minute halt and where it's going to go from there. And
so how do they determine the halt time? Because that's something that's, we're kind of unsure of sometimes when we're watching it. It's either, like you said, it's either a 5 or a 10-minute halt. How do they determine that?
I don't know how they determine between a 5 and a 10. I just know it's always a 5. I don't know how they got to the 10. And if it goes past that, it's obviously news related, that there's news that came out on it. But usually what happens on a 5-minute, when a stock gets halted, it goes up too fast in a certain amount of time that triggers certain algorithms that the orders can't set fast enough. So they have to just stop it, and it only happens during the market hours. there are times like in pre-market and aftermarket that does not, that does not happen. I mean, there's no halts in pre-market. I got screwed a few times back in the old days, complaining. I'm like, how did I get filled on an order? It's open. It's open game in pre-market, but during the market hours, once the algorithms kick in and you actually kind of notice it. And I did a couple of videos on it showing people what it looks like when the orders kick in at 9:30. But what happens hits those parameters, and if it goes up so fast in a certain amount of period of time, they just stop it and just let everybody reset. That's what they usually do.
I've also seen that this is part of the reason why some of these stocks that end up having monster days end up doing crazy shenanigans in the after hours, because those halts are the market maker's gone, right? The stock's not going to get halted. It moves crazy percentages. Do you ever trade any of those after the actual bell, Fausto?
Sometimes we do.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not a really big fan after hours, because what happens, FFI just opened up. So there was a 5-minute halt. So it just opened up right now.
Opened up and went a little bit lower.
Well, you get what's called a slingshot right now, what we call it here at Cybertrade University. So what happens is like there was big orders out there, and then boom, it's going to get halted on the downside now. Then it's going to halt on the downside.
94 cents. That's going to be 4 cents above its VWAP here. FFIE looking to halt again here. That would be the second halt of the day.
Yeah, like this stock I would pretty much stay away from. I mean, this is just like chaotic. But getting back to your question regarding about and there's another halt too that just happened. It's going to probably open up right now. It's the biggest percentage gainer right now. LSDI.
Yeah.
If you guys saw that one.
We did. We were trading this one.
Yeah. So I wasn't a fan of it once the market opened up. It was nice in pre-market and it did real well, but then it started trending down. Orders started showing up. Big orders show up, and that brought it down. But getting back to your after hours, what happens that everyone starts going home and nobody wants to trade after. It's easy to go into the market because you're going into orders that are coming in. But after hours, unless it was like, David Porte, was talking about GameStop and he was debating buying it going in after hours and putting $500,000 into GameStop. Then it's something you want to do. But usually, I would stay away in after hours. Other than if you, and for some of us that are probably listening right now, that they don't. You had the earnings stocks come out after hours of earnings. Unless you really know what you're doing, stick with during the market hours, because it's it's open game, and a lot of brokerage firms actually cut people off, won't allow people to trade during pre-market and aftermarket. So that's an issue too.
And brokerages have different times at which you can trade and all of that. I've been burned plenty of times trying to trade after or earnings in the after hours session. I completely agree with you. By the way, just taking a look at GameStop here, this popped off the bottom at about 32. Looks like it tried to intraday double bottom there. Found some resistance at the VWAP, but this last volume push took us through it. GameStop looks like this is going to try and go higher here.
Well, you got a ladder effect going on right now. What we call it is a 3-layer cake of buyers at 30, 31, and 32. You got 50,000, 20,000, another 50,000. Those guys showed up. There was that big order that showed up. Program trading did kick in right around 9:30, 9:35. The guy at $30. So, listen, I personally would just tell people stay away from GameStop right now. If you really want to feel like you're a little bit more comfortable, I think the AMC is a little bit more on the safe side, because at least AMC, going back from like January to like April, at least you're hovering at a very stagnant, consolidated number, right around that $3.80, $3.90, $4 price range. And it did hit it. It did get close to it. And it's been hovering here, but that's really a little bit more on the safe side. GameStop, you're playing Russian roulette right now. I mean, we knew GameStop was moving on May 2nd, May 3rd. We saw that action kicking in. It was on our watch list, and we saw a lot of activity kicking in when it started breaking 10. And then on the 3rd, it ran from like 12 to 17. And then we have something that's called more of a Fausto flag that was building up in the last couple of days. And obviously over the weekend, we all know that, Mr. Kitty went out there and made that little post, and that really just took it to a whole new level. So
a Fausto flag. I think I like that. 13. Have you ever heard of that chart formation, the Fausto flag?
What does it look like exactly?
You know what? You could see it right now. If you bring up the GameStop trade and you look at basically, I'll kind of explain what it basically is. But what happens is you have a very you got buyers and sellers, and you got a candlestick. And what happens is called consolidation. So it's happening that the buyers compete against the sellers, and then what happens when it ricochets off a low, the buyer bids it up a little bit higher, but the seller is holding at his price. The buyer keeps bidding it up. So if it was more, it's a little bit more of, you might call a bull flag and a bear flag, you know. Okay. But some people don't understand what is an actual flag. You know, like, well, how does it actually form, and actually why is it even there? And it's a lot of it is consolidation. And what happens, one person's going to run out with more shares than the other, and then that's how you usually get that, you know, that big spike. And you had that on GameStop. It started right around the 2nd, and it went all the way up until probably, what was it, the 9th? It started breaking out, and that's where you really could have caught on to it. But
well, I do like those bull flags.
Yeah. But a lot of people don't know what a bull flag and bear flag really is. They just know the flag. They just could recognize it and draw it, but they don't know exactly what does it really mean, you know? Yeah. And that's just something that I was taught, you know, 30 years ago as a market maker.
It's amazing. Once you start seeing patterns on charts, you actually see them in real life too, like building outlines and mountain outlines. I'm a nerd like that. I see chart formations all over the place.
Hospital rooms, beep, beep. Oh,
yeah, exactly.
Well, the thing is that, you know, the way I call more of a Fausto flag is not just more of how you see it as, you know, being a lot of people look at the chart and so on, but seeing what I implement a little bit more into it is where I focus more on the future of all the orders are out there, and seeing if those orders are getting hit with time and sales, all those transactions getting filled, and if it's going to break out, because sometimes you could have what's a false breakout, you know what I mean, and not realize it, you know, or you could have something that it could be a dark pool that's getting filled, and you could see that, you know. So I kind of more focus more on the future part of it and see if it's building up, because if it's something that does form, like what you saw with GameStop, that's how you get that big pop. So my thing, you might hear this might come out in the future, is like, why did this, you know, why did Kitty come out with that news, and why did it pop then, and how did it form in the past? You understand? So that's where things start coming into. That's where people start questioning, like how did it jump that high, and like, did people know before it even happened? Well, that's one thing that we always tell everybody as day traders. What we do is I can actually, some people are not a fan as being a day trade because they say, well, it's too fast and so on. But the thing I always try to tell everybody, if you want to be a good swing trader, you want to be a good investor, you got to know what happens over the course of the day, because that's what's going to trickle into those long-term trades.
I'm exactly that. I would prefer to swing trade, but you're exactly right. Being able to identify what's happening inside a particular day is going to benefit all different types of trading. 13 mentioning that the Fed speaker is happening now. Which one is it, 13?
I believe it's Barkin. Yes, he's talking right now.
Okay, looking over at the SPY here. We're still kind of holding here. Our futures look like they dipped a little bit, but buyers stepped in there. Fausto, does Bookmap tell you anything right now that you want to share with the group?
Like I said, I wasn't a super fan this morning. I mean, I know in the market, there was a couple of cheap ones that moved earlier. I mean, you know, I know everyone's always is talking about right now is the Walmart, what's going on. I mean, listen, you know, Walmart had the earnings announcements that came out. There was a big order that got just filled early this morning, right around the price of that, I don't know, 63.80. And you're getting a couple of orders out there. I'm not really a big fan of that one, but it is trying to, if it could break this 64.40, you got about 30,000 shares out there looking to sell. It might not sound like a lot, you know, but for this stock, it is, you know, as in orders go. But, you know, I think my biggest thing I like to mention everybody is that just be very careful on, you know, getting caught up on the hype on the AMC and the GameStop trade. There's so many other things that are moving out there in the market. Yeah. FFIE is going to get halted again. Okay. So There's another one. Ooh, almost. It just almost got halted.
They didn't.
See,
hold
Ryan,
it.
it gets him too.
Yeah, I was going to say, thank you, 13. Thank you. So, Fausto, when we were watching GME the first day, it was going crazy. I was doing the exact same thing you were. I was like, oh, it's going to halt here. Oh, it's halted. And they didn't quite hold it at that spot, and it fell off, and it restarted the timer. And I was like, you know what? Forget it. I'm not doing any more calls. I'm going to wait till Benzinga Pro, which does report halts and resumes, by the way, in real time. I'm going to wait for that to report it so I don't have any fake get any head fakes, on the halt. So
I would be really careful with this stock, FFVI, for everyone out here, because let me explain something to you. This stock was 3 cents.
Yeah.
Literally the last week. It's literally up almost 1,000%, maybe more, where it's at right now. So this stock is just a huge short squeeze right now. So just be very, very careful of the stock right here before anybody starts jumping on the bandwagon. The only good thing is the stock had so many reverse stock splits. If you go back in 2022, it was in $1,600. So, I mean, just be very, very careful when you're trading stocks like these. Very inexpensive. Unless you're an advanced trader, you've been doing it for a while, and you know how to. Because the biggest reason why people fail is they just don't know how to take losses. But if you don't know how to trade this, there's just so many more other stocks out of the trade. So just be very, very careful before you jump into some of these.
And 13's been watching a lot of the reverse splits stocks.
Yeah.
We've noticed that as kind of a pattern on stocks that have moved, and 13's been tracking reverse splits as they happen, and then watching some of those stocks until they set up. Your point is well made here about FFIE being very difficult. If you take a look at this 1 minute candle, this thing's all over the place, right? So it came from 3 cents, like you said. We actually just pushed up to 120 or 120 cents, $1.20, and then we pulled all the way back down to the VWAP, and now it appears that we're bouncing here. So all over the place.
Yeah, 300 million shares traded so far.
Yeah, just huge. All right. Fausto, where can people find you? You got a link that I can give the group here for Cyber Trading University and some more information on you and your program?
Yeah, I'll post it right there. You can copy and paste it. Today,
Perfect.
I am going to do at 12 o'clock. If you want to know a little bit more about, what happened with GameStop, you want to know about level 4 trading and level 3 trading, how to trade on the exchange, and how to look at it. I'll be doing a nice little 45-minute presentation, today at 12 o'clock. Just click on that link and just register. It's free. Listen, my whole thing is, I've done very well. I always like to give back to the community. I hate seeing people lose in trading. And it's just the main reason is people just don't know what they're looking at, other than, like I was talking to someone the other day and he's like, oh, I don't watch TV. I don't watch the news. I don't listen to Benzinga. I'm like, why? Well, it's fake news. I'm like, listen, we're all the same party. So you guys, your issue, you just got to know how to play the market. Whatever, at the end of the day, if you made money on something, it's better than losing. And, getting back into trading, if you want to learn how day traders actually trade, as in following orders, and just see a little bit of a different style of seeing the future, come and join me at 12 o'clock.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love what you're doing, Fausto. I love how you're teaching people from the ground, teaching them fundamentals from the ground up. I love that every time that you come on here, our group seems to be trading the same stocks. That must mean we're doing something right as well. So, all right, really great stuff. Let's keep having you back. We'll keep, if you come back on days when you have the webinar, we'll tease that here as well. So really, really good stuff, Fausto. Good luck with the rest of the day. We'll see you again pretty soon.
Yeah, and keep an eye. There's one stock that is moving pretty well decently. I don't know if you guys, you probably saw it earlier. It looks like it's filling up a gap fill, is MGNI. That's the one that's moving. The spread's a little bit thin. Tier size is a little small. There's like a lot of 100 share orders out there, but that one's moving up pretty good. If it can get past this 1250, it's another one that's been pretty strong over the course of the day. It was nice this morning, right from 1070 to about 1250, but if it holds here, going after about 1030, where you get the second wave of a program trading, it look pretty good there.
Yeah, and Fausto, this is a really good call. This actually did fill the gap, kind of backed off that. Now it's right back up to that spot. Second time's the charm. Maybe we get a breakout here. Really good mention here.
No problem. And look forward to seeing everybody at 12.
All right. Take care, Fausto.
Thanks, Fausto.
Thank you so much. That is Fausto.
See you, Ryan.
That is Fausto Puglisi from Cyber Trading University. I highly encourage you to check out his webinar. We're super sharp guy. loves giving back to the community, and has an excellent resume. So awesome. Would love to hear that. And we're going to have him back. He's one of my favorite. Purgatory Park saying, great guest. I agree. Fausto is the man. And we will continue to get more updates from him. Becca saying, thanks, Fausto. Okay, awesome. All right. 13, where are we at? Where are we at here? FFIE, I saw that that's going higher. It looks like Kraken's trying to go back up to 10 cents. Release the Kraken, right, Becca? Let's go.
Yeah, so some of the things that I was looking at, because I've been talking about it, was different apparel companies, the airlines, because I've been posting about those in the chat, that the airlines legislation that's being pushed, that has made its way through Congress, and I mentioned earlier that Biden's about to sign. I think that could be a potential short. Maybe Jets, the ETF, might be the best one to play there. But as far as apparel goes, I'm seeing that Nike's having a good day. There was another one that we were talking about that was also having a good day.
Boot
so I'm
Barn,
just kind of
Under
Boot
Armour,
Barn.
Abercrombie.
Yeah. Abercrombie, I don't think is having a great day. I think they're kind of muted right now.
No, but they've been one of the big apparels that we've been talking about recently that's been moving.
Right, but they do have a really good setup to break out here above 140, 139, 140. If you look at a daily chart, you'll see what I'm talking about.
ASTS, sorry, real good call here by STFU. ASTS going to space, wink nudge, coming off that 320 level right to the VWAP. Actually took it out here. Really nice volume pop. If this holds here, I think we could probably go higher and challenge those highs here. I got them at 355. That was one of the spots that we had from this morning.
Yeah, it looks like, I think you're right. Holding a VWAP would be very good for this. It may even help push it up higher, but we're going to need to see this current candle close above VWAP in order for me to feel good about that.
Oh, Goose. This was the other retailer that we were talking about today. I think I left this one off the list. This had earnings. Jay Rice mentioned this. Sally looks like she's on this right here. We had the pop. We had a pop out of the open, a move to new highs. Now it looks like we're coming back to VWAP. Let's see if we end up holding. We actually cracked beneath VWAP here.
I'll take a look at that, Jay Rice.
That's gap, right? GPS is gap.
It is.
It's rolling over here. ASTS still strong to the upside.
I think with gap, we'd probably have to find support right about where we're at. It just looks like this needs to be the level where it needs to find support.
Oh, real quick, Lynn saying, you guys are in sync. Fausto is a great addition to the mix. Like I said, we try to surround ourselves with really smart people. Fausto meets the bill. You can see that the tools that he's using are either one and the same or leading everybody to the same types of stocks that we're trading here. So that's really awesome. One more thing here that I wanted to mention, Purgatory Park, you're mentioning that Boot is ripping here. That was one of those good retailers that we talked about. You had asked earlier, how do you see the halts in Benzinga Pro? That would be the signals tool. So let me go ahead and actually make this a little bit easier for you to see. 13, I promise I won't take a lot of time on this.
No worries.
If you open up a signals tool, this is what it will look like. And these are the different signals that you can select from. As you can see, I've selected halt and resume here. And it lists when the stock is halted with a timestamp. It will count those halts, and then it will give you a reason here if we have it. So I use this tool. I very much don't interact with it. I kind of just keep it open. I do the same thing here with the session highs and the session lows, where it's counting those session highs and session lows, and I use that as a momentum indicator. So once I have the signals tool set, I'm going to enable flight mode, which kind of compresses some of the menu, and then I tuck it into my platform right down here where I can kind of just glance at it. Hopefully that helps.
So continuing on the apparel theme, I was also looking at Victoria's Secret VSCO. This company has been in a straight decline ever since it IPO'd. There's just a straight downtrend in this company. But it is interesting right now because there is a gap that it's trying to fill that will get filled at about $25, maybe just slightly beneath it. So that would be the trade I'd be interested in. It's only about $3.50 capture there, but it's going to be testing the downtrend once it gets up there. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to break out and completely break the trend, but we're getting very close to that point where if we do get the gap fill, we'd be right on the doorstep of breaking that trend. So this could be a really interesting one. So just wanted to put that out there for you guys.
Actually, this is a really good. This wasn't even on my radar at all. 13. Kudos to you, because the other thing here is that if this holds off this little pullback and we kind of take this formation out here and then break, what is this, 23? It's a little bit lower than that. Let's call it 23. I think a gap fills your next move here. At least 2 points on that move.
Yeah, that's the plan on that one.
So I like this. I think this is a really good setup.
And if you back out even further, you can see how this has just been in a complete straight. You can draw a perfectly straight line and see how the downtrend looks on this thing. And
that's just from these highs right up here.
No, this is from the from ever since it IPO'd.
Oh, I beg your pardon.
Back in 22 or 21. I'm sorry. Yeah, so you back all the way out. Like I'm talking all the way out.
Yeah, I need a different chart here.
Even a weekly would be good. But yeah, you'll see what I mean by how it's just been a straight downtrend. And once we get a break of that downtrend, there could be some pretty significant bullish activity. There, so you can draw a straight, so a trend line straight down there. Yes, I saw that, Lynn Williams, about the airlines. They'll continue to fight Congress, but if it's already passed, then they can't really lobby. I mean, I'm not sure if how it works once it's already made its way through Congress. So what's the point at what do they do now is basically what I'm wondering. If they can't fight Congress. Why? We have no charts on the screen.
No, my thing crashed again.
I'm
really struggling, man. My man, it's.
But there you go. There's
trying to draw. I'm trying to draw your trend line here, but you're exactly right. And I didn't draw that all that well, but you're going to have to live with it.
Yeah, I'll manage. But yeah, so that trend line or that downtrend breaking could be a very big catalyst for Victoria's Secret. Of course, it would be helpful if they had fundamental moves to go along with it. But first thing this is going to be looking for is technicals. Okay, so it looks like FFIE.
Hey, release the Kraken. Release the Kraken, 13. We're at 10 cents now. Whopping 10 cents here on Kraken. This actually looks like it is trying to break out above this, though.
And it looks like FFIE might want to try to push up to new intraday highs here in just a little bit. A little bit more volume expansion, and we could do that.
Here is your FFIE chart. Looks like it's flagging in here. I don't want to call it a Fausto flag because I don't want to step on his toes, but this is flagging here.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what else do you guys got for us? Yeah, ASTS. Let's go. Yeah, it had a nice push up through VWAP, holding VWAP. Looks like the next step is to take out the 355 level where we actually, that's the pre-market high. It's also the intraday high in the regular session. So we did hit that and come back in. Now I'd be looking for it to break out. So let's see if we get that volume to break over 355. 3M and Nike pullbacks. That sounds fine. We needed those. They were ripping this morning. As a matter of fact, 3M might actually just be pulling back slightly so it could go higher, but I'm not, no guarantee with that. It looks like the MACD is rolling over too.
Look at Boot Barn. This continues to move. Gosh, is this strong? Do we have the same type of performance from UAA, Jay Rice? Did we continue to move just like Boot Barn did? And this is actually still flagging. We'll see if we take that next leg up here. 7 potential breakout spot UAA.
I'll do that right now, STFU.
MGNI, this was one that Fausto mentioned here, said keep an eye on it. This actually curling back up towards the highs there. This is another good one to add to the watch list.
I'm assuming, STFU, you're talking about a 1 minute. I think you like to use the 1 minute.
Some pretty big calls in ExxonMobil, although that might be a closing order. I don't know. Those are calls that expire in January of 2026. Those might be that might be a longer term trade there. Big call buy there. Baba seeing some call buys as well. Nvidia has some flow. Sorry, go ahead.
No worries. So STFU. So okay. So I got the 1 minute. I've drawn the trend line. I think I see what you're talking about. You're just basically kind of indicating that this has like a rising support level here. So I see what you're talking about.
ASTS looks like it's going to try and take out 345 here.
First and third candle bodies. Okay.
Justin giving us an update on GME. Justin, appreciate it. I know you've been following those stocks quite a bit here. GME update. Roaring Kitty did a tweet suggesting he is doing a Kansas City shuffle on the hedge funds. I got to be honest with you. I have no idea what a Kansas City shuffle is, and I don't understand the connection to why hedge funds would even give one damn about that. But a big knife here on ASTS. Looks like it pulled it to the VWAP. It's trying to bounce. We'll see if that holds. That would be something to note, by the way.
So for STFU, what he's telling us here with ASTS, that the trend line that he had me draw, it continues to provide rising support. We've only seen it, we haven't seen it come back down to test this yet since I've drawn it. But at this point, it looks like, and you tell me if this is what you're seeing, STFU, that if we came down here in this very candle, that we would be looking at about a 313, 315-ish support. So you tell me if that's... you didn't see that knife, but you tell me if that's what you're looking for here with this trend line you had me draw.
Jay Summers completely out of ASTS 345. I like that trade, Jay Summers.
Nice.
I think that's coming off the bottom here, right? This consolidation area right around 320. I like that little scalp. Nice job. You know, it's amazing when you have a bunch of small things over and over again. Small things can become a lot of things, and that's one of the things that we're trying to do here using the scalp strategy. Purgatory Park, I appreciate this. I can't verify any of this, of course. The Kansas City Shuffle, an advanced form of confidence trick where the mark is aware of being involved in a swindle and believes that he or she can outsmart the swindler. Okay. So the interesting. So your contention here is that the hedge funds know they're a part of it, but they're trying to win. But Roaring Kitty thinks he's going to get the last laugh. Interesting. We'll see how this plays out. I have no horse in that race.
Yeah, I'm curious to know how Kansas City ended up being the place for that.
Yeah, I was going to say that might be a little bit of research into Urban Dictionary to find out how exactly that materialized. We'll see. We will continue to discuss the Kansas City Shuffle, and if I get any luck myself this year, we'll be discussing the Super Bowl Shuffle in Chicago. But I don't want to get ahead of myself, especially with a Packer fan as my co-host. What I would like to do is get to another guest. I told you, look, we're gonna keep trying to bring value here, and we're gonna keep trying to bring on professional traders. Special guest, are you ready? Can I get a thumbs up if you're ready? Bam! Welcome to the show, Nick Shaheen. Nick, welcome back. First of all,
welcome, Nick.
I'm gonna start off here with a bit of a mea culpa. Okay, just so you folks were aware, it was my responsibility to try to bring Nick to you on Tuesday, and I screwed up. So, Nick, I'm very, very sorry. Thank you so much for making time here this morning. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Well, I screwed up the second time we tried to get together, so we're even.
Yeah, but I'm not going to say that. I'm going to follow on the story myself.
I will admit it. So we're doing great, trying to maneuver this wild market here that we have. So, the all-time highs and all of that is pretty exciting. So my concern is always how to avoid easy mistakes. So that's what I'm focusing on these days. So I sound like a nervous Nelly. I'm like a downer because everybody wants to buy everything. That's the emotion. The FOMO kicks in, and this is the time where we can avoid easy mistakes. So not
So-
everything is equally
So
as
you
exciting.
set me up perfectly for this, so I beg your pardon for interrupting. But speaking of
that's okay.
FOMO, did you and your group do any trading of the GME AMC craze? I have to ask everybody.
No, I did not trade it. My story with GME is the last time they had this crazy thing when they rallied hard, I was like, okay, I'm going to short this thing. So I bought puts. I kid you not, the next day the stock doubles and I made money. That was one of the rare days where the put column and the call column were both green because of the explosion in implied volatility. So I made like 20% on my puts, even though the stock was doubling. So that was a sign to me. It's like, this is more gambling than anything else. So no, but I did share comments on the charts, and I posted a little video last night. So it is tradable, but you need to know what you're doing, or you need to be super lucky.
Yeah.
Because it clearly is in the hands of, I call them cheaters, because they're manipulating the opinions and the stock prices and spoofing prices, and it's hard to win with conviction. There are easier way to make money, but this is pretty exciting.
I tell you what, if I bought puts and a stock gapped up and then I then sold those puts for a profit, that would have been a screenshot for the ages for me. I would have absolutely.
I did take the screenshot. I just can't find it.
No,
and that is not the only
awesome.
time. It happened again. I want
Wow.
to say recently. I can't remember what ticker. It did happen again in another ticker. So this is the kind of environment we're in. And I have to tell you, I mean, you and I have known each other for years. So I have to tell you that this is the most manipulated market out. I mean, they're not even trying to hide it anymore. So you got to know what you're doing. You either have to get with somebody that knows charts and on top of whatever you do with fundamentals. So if you're here's what I say every day. I sound like a broken record. If you're an investor, you need to be more trading than investing at these levels. Nothing is a bargain because it has to trade in the prism of all-time highs. So let's say I like stock ABC. I jump into stock ABC at the right time, and then the market corrects. Well, all stocks are going to fall. So whatever I do half. Just knock down your conviction level. Trading, that's something different. Last night, we took an earnings trade that worked out on DE. I read the options chain. I thought down was the way to go. I set up an iron butterfly on the down at 1 overnight. We took an iron butterfly for the open for today on the SPX. It paid last night because after the spike, we dropped just after the bell rang. And maybe you know, maybe you don't know, options on the indices and ETFs trade 15 minutes past the bell.
Indeed.
So I said, close it now. So we're trading more than investing at this level. There are some good bargains, but they're not super bargains.
Speaking of that 15-minute, Nick, I can't remember if I told you this before. I actually learned this from you and tried this a few times recently last year, at the end of last year. Remember I had asked you a while ago about trading NVIDIA for an earnings print, and one of the things that you said is you were like, well, I kind of look at some of those ETFs that trade 15 minutes after the close because maybe you get that print from NVIDIA, the movement in NVIDIA then affects one of those ETFs, and you can actually capture that even in the after hours. So I actually did that. I think I was using the Qs for that the last time I did that. But that's really
you can do that with the SPY and the Qs.
Yep.
I'm not sure anything moves the IWM that way. The financial sector maybe. No. So yeah, definitely. And I think the Qs will be closer related to NVIDIA specifically, which is next week, folks. So I'm going to tell you something you probably already know. Almost exactly last year, a year ago, when NVIDIA reported in May, I'm going to go from memory. I think they reported shrinkage in sales. It was a boring report, and the stock went to high heaven because they basically said we're going to grow 40% in 3 months.
I do remember that. In fact,
I was short. And then the stock took off, and I was like, no way you're going to be able to do that. And guess what? They did that, and then some, and then some, and then some. So this is the 1-year anniversary of it. So what I said this morning, I think the market will move with NVIDIA up or down. I have no idea. I will know better the night before they report. We'll look at the options chain. There'll be clues in there. But I'm confident that NVIDIA will make or break this market here, or has the opportunity to do that. And we might follow it way up or way down. So retracement to 480 is possible. A blow up to 540, 560 is possible. So by the way, 530 to 560 has been our target once we broke out on the SPY from 465. Clear neckline, inverse head and shoulders, whatever you want to call it, 530 to 560, the zone. So this is not a surprise. I was hoping we would drop one more time before we do that, but we're up here. So once you broke out of the right around there, this is about the target area. And on the weekly, it might be clearer. And what is NVIDIA going to do to that? That's the question. So we shall see how that plays out. If I'm long everything, I should protect myself. Cheapest way to protect yourself, the VIX is at 1230. 1230? Yeah, 1240. So here's a little tip. If I'm long this and that and this and that and this and that, I can buy puts to protect, but one green day, your puts are down 30%. If you buy VIX calls that are 60 days out or more at the money, it's like renting insurance. They hold their value much better. Like I own some, and I'm looking at it, I'm down like 15%, but they've been owned for more than a week in an all-time high extreme breakout.
Yeah, that's really not that bad.
Right. If you own puts, they're dead. And all you need is one spike in quote fear, and you'll get that 10-15%. It'll swing back to green 10-15%. So you're renting insurance. Think about it. It's like buying insurance on Allstate and cover health insurance, house insurance. It's slated to die. It's supposed to die. But buying puts to cover your portfolio dies too fast. This is a better way. So if you want to be cautious, to protect assets, not to short the market. It's not a good way to shorting the market. Mm-hmm. Buying VIX calls 60 days out and keep rolling them. Don't let them get too young, like less than 30 days. I close it, open it out 60 days.
I like that. You know, I've said a lot of times I've donated way too much money to the volatility fund, but that strategy actually sounds a lot better. And 13. So what do you think? We have Nick saying that the NVIDIA earnings might kind of hold the cards for the rest of the market here. That sure sounds like our recent happy hour discussion, doesn't it?
Yep. Sounds exactly like it. I think he's absolutely correct. That's the last big name to report, I believe, for the rest of the month too.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's gonna and that's the last Mag 7 to report, if I'm not mistaken, as well. So I think that's going to have serious implications for where this market goes, depending on how they report.
Yeah, we have a weird set of circumstances right here. Pretty. So on the one hand, you know, the metrics of the economy are still fine. We don't have a crisis. I remember days when we cut rates when we had a crisis. You know, the 08 crisis. Oh, we got to bring rates down. Now we don't have a crisis, and we still have inflation. Inflation's not getting better. The report yesterday was not good. It just was not crappy. And we had a rally on that one. So we do have inflation. It's still there as a problem. The Fed admits it. We don't have bad economic conditions, yet the Fed wants to cut rates 3 times this year. I just can't wrap my head around it.
Me either.
They said, oh, we're too restrictive. Smart people that I respect say that we're too restrictive. Like, who cares? We don't have a crisis. Why are we cutting rates? It's like, I'm bleeding. I'm going to give you aspirin anyway, which makes your bleeding worse, just in case you get a headache.
That's a good analogy.
Like, what's happening here? So it's a pretty crazy situation. I'm not an economist, but this doesn't sound right.
Indeed. All right. You got anything else that you're taking a look at here, Nick? Anything that you're trading here today, or you think the group should be aware of?
I took a shot shorting silver yesterday and bought some puts. Silver is down and I'm not making money. That's weird. So we timed it right. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to short something that's going into a prior sharp fail. And then you stop out if it doesn't work. So find a stock like Google right now. It's going straight into a prior fail. I wouldn't short Google. It's being traded. It's trading crazy, but that's just an example. A stock that's going, or ticker, it doesn't have to be a stock of a company, a ticker that's going into a prior fail. See if you can take a shot at a short. And if it goes above there, maybe you stop out, or you stop out at X% down. It's a soft short, nothing crazy. We're long Boeing, and with this bounce, I'll probably get out of the long Boeing. So nothing specific, just trying to be tactical. Tactical is a word that you guys have talked about, maybe.
Oh yeah.
That's how you need to be.
Okay, real quickly, you had mentioned you were trading silver. I just pulled up the SLV chart, and this is exactly what you were saying. This traded right up into a previous rejection zone, which just happened. So nice little setup here. All right, Nick, giving us some trading ideas live here. Really,
but you got to stop out. You can't ride your puts forever.
Of course not.
No.
All right. Really good stuff, Nick. Nick, before you get out of here, why don't you tell our viewers where they can find more of your analysis and your trades?
You can join us. I'm actually looking at, we have 255 people in our live room, and they're there every day, 255 to 300 people. We trade live 9 hours a day. I'm talking at 5 a.m. my time. I'm sharing my screen. So join us. And to get that done, you need to contact Rodrigo. I don't have a link for you, but it's an easy email address if you can type it up for them. Rodrigo's email at Benzinga. So
Yep,
it's Rodrigo at benzinga.com, I believe.
Yep, absolutely. It is Rodrigo at benzinga.com.
And
That
tell
is in
them,
the chat
tell
here.
him Nick sent us to hook us up. And he always has a deal where there's 30 days out. So we do great work. We've been doing it for more than 10 years. And still Benzinga gives the 30-day out clause for you guys.
Yep. Look, if it's not going to work for you, then it's not going to work for us. And we want you to know that. Nick, you've been doing a great job. Really awesome stuff. Can't wait to have you back.
I'll see you next week.
Okay. And I promise I won't drop the ball. Nick Shaheen, thanks so much. Really
Thanks, Nick.
appreciate it. Have a great rest of your week and a great weekend.
Good luck, guys. Crush it.
Take care. That is Nick Shaheen. We have all different kinds of experts here for whatever your trading needs are. Be sure to check it out. And like I said, if you haven't talked to Rodrigo yet, he is an absolute hoot. So definitely shoot him an email, let him know. Okay. 13. Let's take a look at the clock here. We got 17 minutes left. What are you feeling on the day here, my man?
Well, on the day, here's the thing about the day
stocks,
is that,
individual stocks, market, what's going to happen? Just your general feelings.
Well, first, I'm looking to see if ASTS can get the volume expansion to blow through these sell order walls that it's got here from 350 to about 370. Other than that, aside from that, if it can't do it, it's probably going to have some more weakness. As far as the market goes, we're pushing into new all-time highs as we speak. I really want to see this market come in, especially since it's starting to give look like it's curling a bit and trying to have a hard time going up into the 531 handle. I'd like to see. I just want to see some weakness in this market. I think this is pretty extended. We've got an over 30% move in the SPY since the beginning of the month.
So we definitely feels like we want a break and maybe a reset before we determine the next move.
I'm sorry. No, that's incorrect. That's the 30% move since October. I'm sorry. I got that completely screwed up, which is still a huge move from October. That was just about 6 months ago, or 7 or 8 months ago. It's still a very big move from the bottom there. We've actually had I think it's a 6% move since the beginning of the month, which is still substantial.
I was going to say, it's and STFU's mentioning the same thing here. The SPY is definitely overheated. Regardless of those dates, it definitely feels like the SPY is overheated. I'm with you there. ASTS, by the way, really holding here. Watch for that 350 break. You might end up getting that here.
Yeah, it's just, volume is just not looking great. So I'm skeptical that it'll do it. But hey, at some point there could be a big old buyer come in and say, I'm here to rescue you all. And then just buys up, 100,000 shares, rips this thing. Who knows?
Let's see. And how are we doing on some of our meme stocks here? I feel like we haven't checked them from the beginning. That leads me to believe that it's not a whole lot of action there, but we'll go ahead and confirm that here.
Purgatory, you're saying like that 30% since October is like 2 years of work? Because I agree. That seems like a really big move in a short period of time. Sounds like you're trading the market you want, not the market you have. I don't know. My approach to the market is I'm going to take what the market gives me.
Yeah. And I've seen that, and we've seen that. And the other thing we've noticed, 13, is that your opinion on direction changes. Guess what? When you get more recent information, when you get information that changes the thesis, that will change the trading plan. GME, by the way, this kind of rejected at its VWAP, kind of rolled over here. It's doing a good job holding up, but it's not really doing much anything. I'm not sure that these are the stocks in focus here today. AMC lost 5. It's not breaking down, but it did lose 5. That will be something to watch. BMTX getting called by Smoke Tuna here. BMTX right back to its VWAP, maybe a move higher and an attempt at that triple top right around 315.
LSDI is has reversed, and it is trying to recover to VWAP. There's a bit of a gap that it's trying to fill intraday right now on its way up to VWAP. So and it's suspended at the moment, but that gives you an opportunity to look at the chart and decide if you want to do anything with this.
And you might have just verbalized positive reasons for halts. 13 gives you some time, gives you some time to look at the chart and maybe do some technical analysis so that you can be prepared. This LSDI movement right off this 135, VWAP at 174, not bad. Looks like we halted halfway in there. We'll see where this opens and where it ends up trading.
Boeing was looking pretty good. Remember how I drew that Browning wedge on Boeing? It's really respecting the price. Actually, is really respecting it. There's a picture of it in Happy Hour chat if you want to look at it.
Yeah, remember here, I'll pull the interactive chart up in case we need to do some more on it. Nick was saying he was long Boeing here this morning. Let me go ahead and try and find that chart that you had here.
It looks like ASTS wants to also try to make that breakout move, but we'll take a look at this Boeing chart real quick.
So here it is. Here is your chart.
Broadening wedge. It's respecting it. It's looking good. And today, I think, is the big solid move we needed over the 50-day SMA. Let me just double check. Yes, that is a breakout over the 50-day SMA. Now we need to close above it, and that'll give us a much better case of moving up to toward these other moving averages like the 500 and 200 that you see there. So far it's working out pretty well. And
this wedge that you have here, 13. This actually looks very, very similar to the same type of wedge that you drew on Tyson years ago. When we've been watching that. So these wedges over the long term really do seem to be holding here. Really good stuff here on Boeing.
Yep.
And like I said, for all you pro members, be sure to check out the Happy Hour chat channel. 13 is a moderator of that channel and does a great job recapping and throwing ideas in there. Frankly, our entire community does, but oh
yeah, I'm not the only one.
Yeah, no, but that is a really, really valuable chat room. I know Lynn and Randy will attest to that too.
We have ideas in there that we think about and start trading before they even before even CNBC starts talking about it.
Oh yeah, so we're early on a lot of them. Stay focused is all about
early.
That. Yep, we are early on that. All
looks
right
like
here.
ASTS is not having the greatest moment right now. Hasn't knifed. So that's good, but if we can't recapture this, I guess we'll call it 345 to 350. Then I'll probably not. I just take this off my screen and be done with it.
Here is ASTS. It's just kind of consolidating here. I think that this is not over until another 350 rejection or a breakout here.
Yeah, it's just that there's a lot of sellers piling into the 345 level now.
Good morning, Heats. Thanks for joining us here. Nice session from Nick. Really appreciate that. Like I said, we're going to keep trying to bring more and more high quality guests on here. I will say that, if it's just us the same day saying the same thing, that can get monotonous. I really like when we bring in guests that trade a little bit differently, and then we kind of get an idea of what they're trading. A lot of the time it adds up. So I'm going to keep trying to do that. I love that you guys like these guests. We're going to keep bringing them on. I promise.
Can I be one of them?
Hey,
of course, with that shirt, you can do whatever you want, dude.
I knew when I wore this, AT was going to make some comment, and he did. I know him so well. But what's up, fellas? How's it going?
Well, I mean,
I don't know. Where's your corduroy jacket?
See, I'm so used to wearing just like solid colored t-shirts and whatever else. I was like, you know what? We're going to spice things up a little bit.
Yeah,
not just because I use Old Spice, but still,
Zunaid woke up this morning and chose violence. He's like, we're going to do patterns on the shirt here. Patterns with the guns. Zunaid, first of all, thanks for joining us. How are you doing? And,
I am doing great. I'm feeling great.
Are you going to tell us about the sports betting webinar? Is that why you showed up here?
Yes, that is exactly why. So two things I'm going to update. Yesterday when we traded AMC, obviously that position is down a little bit, but our hood position is up 75%. So we're looking pretty there. Let's go ahead and talk about what's coming up after this, right? 11 o'clock, we've got a
Yes.
sports betting, esports, and gaming webinar. You'll hear from CEOs of XSET who've done a phenomenal job. They have partners in T Grizzly, Ezekiel Elliott. They just signed Clicks as well recently, and they're competing in the $6.5 million tournament in Saudi Arabia. So we're going to talk about that. We've got the CEO of gambling.com. He's going to go ahead and provide some insights. And we've also got the CEO of Better, which is Jake Paul's company. So that'll be a great interview, and a bunch of different analysts to talk about which companies you might want to look at when it comes to the sports betting world. Because let's be honest, it's not going anywhere, right? You have Price Picks, you have Underdog Fantasy. Those are not publicly traded, but those type of companies are taking our money, which means we got to invest in the stocks to get it back.
Yeah, and I'll tell you a little behind the scenes here. Last night I had dinner and adult beverage with Aaron Bree, and I'll tell you what, we started talking betting and horse racing. And I don't bet horses. I know AB just hit an exacto on the Kentucky Derby, but I'll tell you what, by the end of that, Zunaid, I thought I was ready to start trading the horses. So I'm always in. You're absolutely right about gambling not going anywhere.
I'm telling you.
They're putting those in everyone's hands. I know a lot of people have 3-4 gambling apps on their phone. I guess I'm in the minority with just one there, but
yeah,
good stuff. Can't wait for that webinar.
It should be fun. The best way that I can put it is I lose money at night in sports betting and I come back to Benzinga to make it right back. So that's the way that I like to tell people is how my cash flow works. Nothing illegal about it.
The circle is now complete. That is awesome. Well done, Zunaid.
Absolutely. Appreciate y'all. I'm going to go and prepare for the webinar. We've also got Chris Catchy making an appearance on air. So that'll be a lot of fun. Best of luck with your trades. We will see y'all at 11. And, feel free to ask questions, by the way, for the live guests that we have. We'd love to get them in. We're not afraid. Just don't ask anything crazy, but, we'll try to get them in. But appreciate you both. 13, Ryan. See you later, pal.
Take care. The fade and the shirt leaves us here. So really awesome stuff from Zunaid. All right. Yeah, sports betting. I think that there's going to be a big move in there. I don't know about the stocks, though. I know we talk about DraftKings a lot. Nonetheless, what was happening there while we were talking? Looks like Kraken broke above 10 cents again.
Well, speaking of sports betting, I mean, I'm looking at DraftKings, and that's not really having the greatest day.
Kraken at the highs here now. Release the Kraken to anyone that is still in that. Jesse saying Beer Fest this weekend out here in Michigan. Ryan, check them out. I'm actually leaving on Saturday. I have an event on Saturday, but we'll see. Does it start Friday night? Because that could be something to do. Good to see you, Jesse. Z is a smooth operator. Wait till you see him in person. He's even smoother in person. It's crazy.
Yeah, we were just looking at ASTS to see if that one's going to recover, and it looks like the confidence in that is possibly waning, but we'll see. It hasn't broken down beneath VWAP yet.
So this LSDI is still halted, huh? This halted at 10:45.
Is it really? No,
so this is a 10-minute.
I think it unhalted and then it halted again. I could be wrong about that.
Well, halted at 10:45. Well, I don't have it on here. This definitely looks halted.
I mean, it's halted, but I think that we might be looking at 2 halts over the past couple of candles there.
Okay. This should be opening here any minute, shouldn't it?
STFU, which one? There's Broken Lizard has several guys in that crew. Which one are you friends with?
Boy, I don't even know what you just said.
Oh, he's talking about the guys who made Beer Fest movie. He knows.
Oh! I was like, what did I miss? Talked to Zunaid for 5 minutes and I missed a whole bunch of stuff. Okay. Jay Chandrasekhar.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Also,
LSDI. 13. LSDI is open. Close the gap up to its VWAP, flirting right here. Now breaking above LSDI. This continues to move here. Volume is continuing to expand here. This looking pretty good. That was a great call, and that we might halt here. No, we're still trading around. Okay.
Yeah, he's the director that also did the most recent Dukes of Hazzard movie. Yeah, those guys are funny.
LSDI now losing that VWAP here. Oh, this has been a good morning here today, folks. Even with the computer issues, we fight through that stuff.
I got to know from STFU. Whenever, yeah, he was. Whenever you see him, do you go walk up to him and go, "Mother of God"? I gotta know. I imagine he gets that a lot from fans.
James Earl Jones would get that too. That's a great line in Hunt for Red October. By the way, Fausto mentioned Google earlier. Google relentless today off that 174. 2 points here in Google so far.
All right, looks like ASTS is trying to find some new life.
There you go. Who was that? Nick? Yep. There you go. There's Zunaid's email. Thank you, Zunaid. Producer Zunaid getting it done back here. You love to see it. Okay, we got just under 3 minutes here before the sports betting and gaming and esports webinar begins. Hope that you all had a great day here today. Michael Burry is selling Google. Okay, is that new as of this morning? Stay focused. By the way, good morning. Great to see you.
Yeah, I mean, Google's had a great run. It makes sense. I mean, I don't know if he's turning bearish on it for a different reason, but if he, depending on when he got it, he's done really well. It's one of those Mag 7s that just continues to rip since what is this, like the beginning of last year?
Oh, by the way, one more thing that I wanted to mention to the group here. I'm sorry that I forgot this, but thankfully I remembered before we ended here. I was speaking to Luke yesterday, and Andrew Left from Citron is going to be on our YouTube here today at 12:30. Now, if you rewind back to the first time that GME and AMC did its craziness, we actually had Andrew on our program with Luke, and it looks like we're going to do that again here today. So if you're interested in GME or AMC, your best bet is to tune in and listen to what Andrew Left has to say here. That is going to be 12:30 Eastern on our YouTube channel.
That'll be interesting.
That it really will. It really will. I'm going to have to try and get lunch before that 13 because I think after that I might be tied up, as they say.
Sounds good, man. And yeah, I'm just looking to see if ASTS is going to try to break this 345 level that we've been talking about. STFU and I have been kind of watching this thing, seeing what it's going to do it. Volume just doesn't really want to come back in.
No, it's continuing to decline here. We need that volume to ramp and expand for this to move through that 350 area. I know you said 345. I'm looking at the chart here. 350 also seems to be in play. Probably an area in there, not just a round number. More at the door. What trading platform does 13 use? 13, I think you're a Webull user, aren't you?
Yep.
There you go.
Yep, I've used several over the years using Webull right now. I've used I started with Hood. I did fine with that one, but I got rid of it because it was just in my opinion, it wasn't a great platform.
Yeah.
And then I used TradeStation as well.
Looking at the market here, we're going higher, right? We're going higher here. 531.47, your high on the SPY. The futures, which are driving the bus, those are also printing highs here. Just a monster day here, or a nice little curl up, I guess I should say. SPY all-time highs. Hutchie's on it.
SPY RSI 71.
Overcooked. That's what we were saying earlier.
Yep.
It's not abated at all. All right, it is 11 o'clock, folks. That is going to do it for us. We are at a hard stop. Be sure to stick around for the sports betting and esports webinar. 13, thanks for everything, man. We're going to see you again tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I'll be here tomorrow.
All right, sounds good, everybody. Take care. Stay green, stay safe.